The creation of your solar system, 19 divided 5 equals 95. One low, 93 billion years ago, your solar system formed out of a gigantic whirling dust cloud and gas as a result of the collapse of that great star cell. 2 Alyun Alyun El, the Most High, Al-Ali, or El or Illa, who is known as simply Allah, Rab and Yahweh, or Hashem and Ra and Anu. All of these names called by religious people. However, he is one and the same. Anu created this universe and the planet called Earth for his blueprint of physical creation, meaning that these two entities, the skies and the earth, marked the beginning of everything to come. It was the spirit of the Most High that controlled everything to quicken and come into being, come to life. Third, so he is called the light of the galactical heaven and the planet Earth. 4, this marks the time when the explosion came from combining two hydrogen atoms to make helium, and then the combination of the two gases, which led to a series of chain reactions exploding, and this was the creation of the Shamash. That cloud of dust and gas existed unformed in the universe, then it began to collapse. This brought two hydrogen atoms together to form helium. Hydrogen, the most and abundant and simplest gas in the universe, is the fuel of the stars, of which there are many kinds. 7. There are binary stars, which are a pair of stars which revolve around each other, and eclipsing binary stars, which are stars that revolve in such a way that one star blocks the other's light. 8 stars, such as your sun, stay hot because of your nucleus changes in their centers. Over a period of time, increasing degrees of contractions and heat occur until reactions in their centers produce intense heat and brightness. 9, in the stellar cores, hydrogen is converted into helium and other heavier elements, as 554 million tons of hydrogen, H, changed into 550 million tons of helium, He, each second of your sun. 10. The remaining 4 million exploded from the center, giving birth to sunspots, or electrical storms on the sun. 11. This was the birth of your sun, originally called Afsu, known today as Shamash or Shamush by the great ruler Anu, the Most High, the highest. 12. Between these two gases, light fire came into being. The sun's energy comes from the changing of hydrogen, H, to helium, He, at a temperature of about 30,175,262 degrees Fahrenheit. 13. Helium burning gives off hydrogen, which in turn makes more helium. 14. This is what makes the sun a ball of gas, which is constantly burning. 15. This burning of atoms causes the explosions, also called electrical storms. These storms give off sparks of hydrogen and helium that fling out into the universe. 16. Upon being flung out into the universe, whirling at tremendous speed, these sparks of burning gas began to cool to a lesser degree of heat, and it settled in different places within the universe. 17. We call these planets, stars, and other galaxies. From your sun's electrical storms came the birth of your solar system, a large universe, a supernova, an explosion. This is the third degree of darkness. This explosion caused the reverse action, from expansion to retraction, that led to the collapse. 20. This supernova was 1 billion light years away at that time. 21. After becoming red giants, supernovas, from the word super meaning above ovon, superimpose. Superior in size, from the Latin, from super meaning over above, and the word nova meaning a star that suddenly becomes much brighter and then gradually returns to its original brightness over a period of weeks to years. From the New Latin, stella, nova, new, star, nova, feminine of Latin novus, meaning new. 22. These supernovas collapse upon themselves, producing intense heat and causing their cores to explode. 23. Sometimes an explosion blows the entire star to bits, and at other times a lump may still be left to become a neutron star, which is a small star made up entirely of neutrons, a collapsed star of tremendous density. 24. A neutron star is a celestial body hypothesized to occur in a terminal stage of stellar evolution. It essentially consists of a super-dense mass of neutrons that have a powerful gravitational attraction from which only neutrinos and high-energy photons can escape, thus rendering the body invisible except to X-ray detection. 25 neutron stars have masses of about 1 solar mass and radii of about 10 kilometers, 6.2 mi. 26. Their densities are thought to be about 10 to the power of 14 times that of water. Because of their identification with pulsars, rotating neutron stars are thought to have extremely strong magnetic fields on the order of 10 to the power of 12 Gauss, compared to a field of 0.2 Gauss on Earth and a few thousand Gauss in sunspots. 27. Every time they spin, they give out a flash of energy, like a lighthouse. 28. The largest remaining bit of the star may also become so compressed and possess such an intense gravitational pull that it becomes a black hole. 29. At the center of the black hole, the star that died is crushed out of existence by the force of gravity. 30. Black holes give off no light and act like stellar vacuum cleaners, sucking up matter and energy from space. 31. They can be compared that is produced when a cup of liquid is stirred at high speed. 32. Once the spoon is removed, a hole is made in the center, like a miniature whirlpool. 33. Floating objects are drawn and sucked into the center. 34. So black holes will absorb any stray matter or energy that passes within a certain range of its horizon, including light. 35. Dwarf stars, which are also dark brown, are made of protons. 36. Novas are stars that explode and become thousands of times brighter and then becomes dim again. 37. The white dwarf is a small white star with a large amount of material packed into an extremely small space. 38. A white dwarf star is about the size of the Earth, but weighs as much as the Sun. 39. The weight of the Sun's outer layers compresses the gas of the innermost region to a density about 100 times that of water and raises the central temperature to about 15 million K, 27 million degrees Fahrenheit. 40. Then there are the supernovas, an extremely bright star, exploding suddenly appearing in the sky, generally decreasing rapidly in brightness. 41. Giants have a relatively large radius for its mass and temperature, and supergiants are any relatively enormous stars with a greater magnitude than a giant star. 42. Their lifetimes are short in comparison to other stars. 43. Some of the smaller stars are called neutron stars, which are made up entirely of neutrons, a collapsed star of tremendous density. 44. A light year is the distance light can travel in 1 year. Light travels at approximately 186,272 miles per second over a period of 365 days of the solar year. And then there is a lunar year of 354 days at a solar year, 45. That means light travels 5,878,273,792,000 miles per second, each 31,536,000 years. 46. This supernova was a part of a cluster. All clusters move away from each other. A cluster is one of many groups in which galaxies exist, 19 to be exact, on this side of the massive black hole, whose vortex opens every 10 Earth years. 47. This vortex allows you to travel interdimensionally through these portals in time and space, which open on Earth every 10 years that ends with the number 3. Because time is speeding up, you get caught in time. 48, for instance, the last time was 1993 AD of the Gregorian calendar. 49, let's go back to where it started. 1983, 1973, 1963, 1953, 1943, when the opening of the vortex with the invention of a time machine in the Philadelphia experiment. 50. The next year of the opening of the vortex will be 2003 AD. 51. Your time warp started in 1940 AD with the Philadelphia incident. 52. This experiment is what caused a vortex to open up, causing extraterrestrials to come into this dimension because of the magnetic pull from the big generators that supplied the energy for the invisibility project in Philadelphia. 53. The vortex can be opened by extraterrestrials from the 6th density from their time reference. 54. And one such incident occurred on June 6, 1966 AD, which was the birth date of 13 sons who were born to the devil. 55. All types of malevolent beings came through to Earth during this time. 56. The Philadelphia experiment was an experiment to accomplish teleportation of a warship, the USS Eldridge, from Philadelphia to a dock near Norfolk, Virginia, by using Albert Einstein's unified field theory. 57. This experiment originally began in 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, with a team of scientists. 58. A strange phenomenon happened where 2 Navy men Alfred Bielek and Duncan Cameron jumped over the side of the Eldridge, and they landed in Montauk, in Long Island, New York. 59, where the scientists went wrong, was that they didn't take into consideration that the sailors all had emotional involvements at the time of the experiment. 60. So in trying to link up the USS Eldridge, an object, versing the biorhythms of a living entity, the human body, and the Earth, which had its half-peak at that time, caused the problems. 61, the scientists had no understanding of the human psychic, love, nor the metaphysics of the Earth, that also has a biorhythm like the human body, because it also is a living entity. 62, also everybody there had a zero-time reference different from everyone else. These factors caused the strange phenomena that occurred on the ship. 63, all humans have a time reference. Now they're locked at zero-time reference, which is a set time created during the beginning of an experiment. 64, for humans, it is the point at which every individual is conceived, and it continues on to the gestation period until they're born. 65, it is locked to the time stream, as he calls it, and is locked so that he can relate to society and civilization around him and flow at the same rate as everyone else, and has a reference that remains with him throughout his or her life until he or she dies, at which the soul goes on and can come back, reincarnate theoretically in the past or future. 66. But this time reference is sometimes fragile when you start pumping megawatts of power and actually pulse to the gigawatt region, the type of energies that will affect the psyche, mind, and spirit. You disrupt these references. 67. So what happened was, the reference of the individual is disrupted, but are within the ship's field, so they are not lost. 68. They don't float off into space at that point, but when the ship's field comes down, and those individual references are below and behind the barrier which was in the hull of the ship in the radio room where Duncan and Bielek were, they were in between these shields that are against magnetic energy. 69. This interdimensional travel is nothing new. We have been doing this for millions of years, which allows beings from other worlds, galaxies, or universes to incarnate here. 70. Let me explain. Most of the crafts exposed to you here on Earth are designed aerodynamically, showing you that they were created and built right here for this atmosphere, or there would be no need for their saucer ship, which is to cut its way through the air. 71, however, the Nibiruan fleet are crafts that travel to and fro in time and space, and even interdimensionally, by facilitating the principle of now, once you're moving faster than the speed of light. 72, after a universe collapses in its center or contracts, it expands, which is an explosion called a Big Bang, producing the sound Ka, from which the word Kaluk, create, comes. This occurrence of contraction and expansion is something that happens all the time, which is also why there is no real line of division between galaxies. They overlap each other the way bubbles connect to each other, just as the planes do. It is the same sound that each being that comes into this world, as the womb contracts to yield for birth, and the baby giggles out ga, ga, and ka, remembering the sounds of chaos in creation. As one thing comes into existence, it fractures other things to form itself. 74. It's a gradual process of development in the womb, as the sounds of an octave. Each C note of each octave is the same C note vibrating on a higher or lower scale, called tones. 75, an octave is 8 notes, and all of the sounds inclusive of sharps and flats within one octave is 13. 70's the ninth point is the actual birth, and the new being creates for the first time for all to hear his/her own tone. Such is the way of the universe and galaxies. 77. Now, each universe begins expanding and growing larger until it reaches a point where it bounces off of other expanding universes and begins to contract. This is only to collapse and explode again, creating or reconstructing new universes. 78. Atoms and cells all do the exact same thing the human body does. It grows and expands until it collapses. You call it death, which is merely a sickness that can be cured. 79. So the universe does the exact same thing. It dies. When a universe dies, it explodes and causes the reverse of an expansion. 80. The space between galaxies is always getting bigger. So billions of years ago, galaxies were closer and closer before expanding. 81. There had to be a point of starting. This would have all the galaxies crunched together into a small space. 82, this would have been 76 trillion years ago. The small dot, or Nagut, exploded, and this was called the Big Bang, resulting from the expanding then collapsing of the universe. This sound is Ka, which disturbs the Alyun tone of the original. 83, this caused the explosion of positive low-pitched tones, dark tones, and negative forces, high-pitched tone, bright tones, causing the negative and positive forces to clash into each other by the will of Alyun L, who is outside of your time zone. 84. Your time zone is second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. 85. Yet each day of your days is 1,000 years to Alyun L's day, making it hard for you to understand just how Alyun L exists. For the pure sound of which predates the bang, is covered in the chaos of creation, and you must seek this tone, to realign yourself. 87. Each individual born vibrates and has a tone within an octave, and there are various octaves to complete the full scale of sound, and sound vibrates from conception to decline to end, which registers it in time. 88. Each individual has a zero-time reference and tone reference and vibrational level. 89. You exist all in what's called set time, which exists within real time. That is each individual's real time, their point of origin. All hearts do not beat, like a metronome, at exact beats per second. Sound flows and is utilized, cut on and cut off. Life flows and is utilized, cut on and cut off. Alyun L's time does not have a then, only a now, whereas each individual is at the point of now and looks back at multiple thens and looks forward to multiple thens. Thus, on both sides of present, you find past and future. 90. That was at the very beginning, not the beginning. 91. The time, El Waqt, El Asr, it says in El's Holy Quran in the 131st degree, which has been changed to the 183rd degree, verses 1 through 3, pertaining to the time when the Enoshite's soul will be squeezed from his body and is overcome by death. And the squeezing of Enoshite's soul, it will be squeezed from his body. Surely, this is the age when the Enochites are overcome by defeat. Except for those who are faithful and work to perfect their being and are advocates of patience. 92. By the measurements of time, when it begins and when it ends. To humans, your reference of time began at the recreation of this planet, then called Tiamat to Chi, and now Earth, from Eridu. 93. Time does not move forward, nor has it come from behind. It has always been. 94. Time does not ascend upward, nor has it descended from above. 95 is now. Now is the time. Time is. Then now is not then.